take, we're not there, you know what I mean? Do this, do that, you know, he's only 4 hours away, but still, you know what I mean? You want me to call the doctor's office? No, Dad, that's not right, I gotta handle this myself. I said, well, okay then. The number's on the bottom of your form, you fax me a thing, you know, thing it up. And I'm like, you need to handle it, you need to call in. It all worked out, we got it rescheduled, but it's a whole different thing. I didn't necessarily want to leave, you know what I mean? So for me, it was kind of like, really? It's happened to our family.
Well, I got to get cookies first.
I know it's tough. My daughter spaced that. Her daughter went up to college and came back after the first semester. I don't want to be there anymore. I want to be home. I want to go here.
It happens a lot. You know, for my son, he made it through summer, his first semester, he's living in the dorm, he's got friends. It's been a challenge because he's had some health problems up there. So, you know, on top of college,
Excuse me, I just want to leave these on the
fraternities, and so far, no, he hasn't like said, oh, I think I want to continue. One of his best friends went to FSU. He's having health issues. He had no choice. So
Where is your son? Oh, Florida State.
No, University of Florida. Yeah. Gator. But I wish you would move back here. Grandkids and all. I'm jealous.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'd like to get a few things out so that we all understand what's going on tonight. The ALA is not taking a position on incorporation or annexation. We were just asked to bring it to the community's attention. So we are providing a neutral venue so that no matter what you want to do or whether you just want to come and listen, there's a place that's neutral, and we're providing that at our meetings. So we are not pushing it, we're not opposing it, we're providing an opportunity for people to come and learn about the pros and cons of incorporation. In addition, next month there will be someone from the county speaking about annexation. Because that could very well be a possibility also from one of the incorporated entities that touch the acreage. Roll call.
Trish Watkins.
Barry Williams.
Billy Hall.
Mike Watkins.
Tim Sayre. Michael Rizzo. Yeah, move to approve the audio minutes from the January meeting.
I'll second.
Opposed? Okay, committee reports. Finance.
Current bank balance is $5,883.13. We've had several new members join this month, several donations to sponsor the next jam.
Thank you. Membership?
Since the last meeting, we've had 4 new members join and 7 renewals. Well, actually 9, including 2 we just got. And we do have applications here if anybody else is interested.
Events.
Yes. This Friday, we are having a dance, a disco dance. If anybody would like to come out, we're going to have a community event. It's going to be at the Hamlin House from 8 to 10:30. If you have any questions, you can ask myself, Mike, or anybody else, and we'll be able to help. We also have some ideas for some other events in the coming months. On March 18th, we are planning on doing an 80s dance, and on April 15th, a country dance. My email address is also available. If anybody would like anything special or has an idea of what they would like to do, please feel free to email me and ask me. My name is Mike. Thank you.
Environmental.
Our board is thinking about adopting a highway and doing a cleanup twice to 4 times a year on it. DOT will provide us with vests, litter bags, and possibly some little grabber tools. If we agree to sign the papers and do it for 2 years. They give you a sign at the beginning of the mile strip and a sign at the end of the mile strip. That way everybody will know that the ALA is cleaning up the highway and keeping it clean. And then from a personal standpoint, I have 2 envelopes here with adopt a spot programs. Any homeowner can adopt a spot just around your house, your sidewalks, or you can adopt your entire neighborhood or a mile road if you want. And through the Adopt a Spot program, they will also do the same. They will give you Adopt a Spot bags, little picker-uppers, and if you promise to put on 4 major events in your neighborhood, you can also get 4 20-yard dumpsters, one for each cleanup you do a year. And they'll provide the dumpster for free, pick it up for free, haul it away for free. All you need to do is make sure it's secure so kids don't play in it, like put orange construction barrier fence around it. And SWA puts that on. It's a very good program. They do it throughout all of Palm Beach County. I've volunteered and been involved in quite a few of them. They also will do a paint your house program if you would like to get involved in it. And if you have friends or acquaintances that no longer have a big income, need their house painted, they can get painted for free. And there are lots of organizations that participate and donate to that, like Home Depot and other big companies. So if we get to adopt our spot on the highway, we hope you all will help us clean it up a couple times a year. Keep our neighborhood clean. I'd rather clean my own neighborhood than try to move to a new clean one. It's a lot cheaper just to clean your own neighborhood than to buy a new house and sell your old house. So if we keep our neighborhood clean, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Governmental, on Friday, the Planning Commission will be hearing the Indian Trails Grove Amendment. It's a public hearing at the, well, if you go east on Okeechobee Boulevard and then turn left onto Job, it's at the Civic
Vista.
place.
Vista
I'm
Center.
sorry, yes, Vista. It's there and it's at 9 o'clock. Okay? And the ALA will be there speaking on behalf of the acreage, voicing our concerns about what is going on with our roads and what all the development will be doing to our roads. The bylaws, I'm inviting you to join us to review our bylaws. We haven't done a thorough review of the bylaws in 20 years. If anybody is interested in taking a look at them and helping us formulate what needs to be brought forward. For example, our communication with our community doesn't mention email or text or anything like that. So some of those things need to be updated. So if anyone's interested, please come up after the meeting, join the committee. We'd love to have you. Regular agenda items. We have an honored guest tonight. His name is Vice Mayor of Loxahatchee Groves, Ron Jarrell. And he's going to speak to us about the pros and cons because he went through the process. They're celebrating their 10th year of incorporation this year. And he graciously has agreed to come and share with us what happened and what's happening right now so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel if we decide to do one of the 2 things. So, Mr. Jarrell?
I don't think I need a mic, but thank you, ALA, for having me here tonight. You got a good board here. I've sat in on a couple of your meetings, but it seems the one thing I like about them is they definitely want their community to get involved. They give you the opportunities to come here and speak your piece about different things, whether it's your road needing grading or whether you want to incorporate or not. Just a little bit about myself. I opened the first fire station in the acreage, and that was right out here in the corner of your property. It was a mobile home. I was the driver operator, and you stepped up. You've got a beautiful station over here. You've got another station over at the old Winn-Dixie Plaza, but my heart is in the acreage. I've got a lot of family out here, but I've got a lot of friends. I spent about 4 or 5 years before I moved to the Winn-Dixie Plaza, and then I retired with 31 years out of Station 21 in Loxahatchee Groves, driving the tanker. But I know an awful lot of people out here, but you've got something, you're more in common with Loxahatchee Groves than anybody else I know. I call you the acreage, people call you Loxahatchee, but we're Loxahatchee Groves. We're very small compared to the acreage. When we voted to get incorporated, I voted against it. I have a lot of respect. I'm a Vietnam veteran, but I have a lot of respect more for my senior citizens than I do the younger generation coming up, because you paid your dues, and the seniors, most of the seniors I knew, they didn't want to incorporate because they were afraid of taxes being raised. And when you start your town and stuff, that's a different tax than what you pay the county. So I voted against it, but then I realized that my heart is in Loxahatchee Groves. I'm a 54-year resident. I used to hunt this area out here when it was nothing but Corbin. There weren't any roads, but we had a blast when I was 11 and 12 years old. I went to the old schoolhouse in Yesteryear Village, 5th and 6th grade. But my heart is out here, but my heart is in Loxahatchee Groves. So I figured that I wanted to have some say-so in what happened to our town. When it got voted in and we incorporated, I wanted to be a part of that. And now since I'm retired, it's a lot easier for me to get involved with my community. It's a lot easier for me to come out here and speak to you and tell you where we started and where we're at right now. Our bank account when we incorporated was zero. All right? We had a lot of people come in to help us get incorporated, and I've got to give credit not to myself, but we had a committee, Marge Herzog on the Landowners Association president, Elise Ryan, but we had committee members that got together and decided they wanted to become a town. It took years for them to finally make it to the point where we got to vote on it. So I've got to give them all the credit. I didn't play any part in that. But now since I've been on the council, I'm working my 7th year on the town council. I am playing a part in being a town. But back to our bank account, basically we started out with nothing. We probably got approximately $3 million in the bank. We just purchased last year, we just purchased a new town hall. It was the Chambers, the Palm West Chambers at the corner of F Road and Southern. It's a beautiful building. We purchased it for probably half of what they actually paid to build it. So that was a good decision on our part. Now in a town, we always have a group of people that will fight us on everything. But I've always felt if we as a council, we as a town can accomplish something positive every year, I'll stay on the council until I get voted out. And I'm a firm believer that when the people vote me out, that's what the people want. So I'll sit out in the audience, and I'll be the nightmare for the council if they're doing something wrong. And I got to be honest with you, it's easier sitting out in the audience than it is sitting up on the council. We get bashed a lot and be elected officials. We're supposed to take it. And I do take it quite a bit. Sometimes I may slip up. But no, it's a beautiful thing. Being an ex-Marine, it's a challenge for me to sit on that council, do something positive for my town, and then people condemn me because I say my town. But no, I look at it as my town. Now, everybody's responsible for how we function and what happens in our town, but I consider it my town, and I take it seriously that nobody messes with our town, that we go against the residents. So, some pointers. I'm here tonight for you to ask questions. I've heard something about power, money, power, and control. I've seen things happen in Loxahatchee Groves where people wanted power and control. I don't want power and I don't want control. Being a firefighter, I base a lot of decisions I make on the council because I spent 31 years trying to put out fires and save lives. Two major things is my concern, and that's good drainage. And y'all do have a slight problem with drainage in the acreage. And the other thing is good roads. The police and the fire, they need to be able to respond to you when you need their help. So that's my two priorities, roads and drainage. As a town, we can afford to take care of problems like that. I spent 9 years on the water control board. And basically that was grading dirt roads and trying to give people the best drainage that we could give them. But the one problem is we did not have the funds. Okay, we would raise assessments to buy a new grader, or to try and give the people a little bit more, but it costs the people. I found out that once we became a town, it's unbelievable, and I call myself a country bumpkin, okay? I don't know politics, I knew nothing about being a town, but I've learned common sense wise, it's unbelievable the revenue that we get coming into our town every year. AT&T, any type of communication taxes, we get gas tax funds. We get anywhere between $300,000 and $400,000 a year for gas tax funds. We got a 5% and a 6%. We can use the 5% for certain things. We can use the 6% for certain things. And then all the other revenue. I realized that once we became a town, the county was getting all these revenues. And we weren't getting anything. And we had a problem where we had to beg for any kind of help we got. And I may be wrong and you can correct me, but I see the same thing in the acreage. You have to fight hard to get good roads out here. You have to fight hard to get them paved, your parks and stuff. I can relate to you. But no, now the town can afford, we've got two entities. We've got the Water Control Board in our town and we've got the town. So I try and bring us together to work as a team. Right now we're having a hard time, but I believe we can correct that. So with the town working with the Water Control District, we can pave the roads and then the roads are turned over to the town. So it's just unbelievable the revenue. You guys, we're nothing compared to the acreage. We're very small, and that's one way I like it because we're just a simple little town. We go anywhere from 1.25 acres, less than an acre, to an average of 5, 20, 200 acres, stuff like that. You've got some big acreage out here also, but most of your acreage, I believe, is 1.25 acres. But because of your size, because of how many roads you've got, it would be unbelievable how much revenue you could come in for your town if you incorporated. I don't know how close you were the last time that you voted, but it's totally different now than it was then. You've got developers moving in on you. You've got GL Homes, you've got Minto. I don't have anything bad to say about them, okay, but they're developers. You need to control your destiny in the acreage. The only way you're going to control that is if you become a town, and I just know that for a fact. You have more power when the developers come in. You can negotiate, get things for your people that you wouldn't be able to get if you weren't in town. So that's what I look at. I see the opportunity for you right now to do the work, do the research, and vote. And if you're good enough to win your vote, you become a town. And you've got good people out in the acreage. We've got good people in Loxahatchee Groves. You've got people that can run your town, but they would be people that you voted into office. If they didn't do the job, then you would vote them out. But you've got to have control out here. You can't miss the opportunity to look back and say someday, well, if we would have been a town, we could have stopped this or we could have done that. I'm here mainly tonight. I can tell you a couple things that I've learned the one thing we did when we became a town, we changed our ULDC, but our goal was to make it better for our residents. But if I had it to do over again, I would have kept them like the county. And you guys fall under county rule now as far as your code enforcement and stuff like that, I believe. So I would not have changed them. We have a lot of problems happening in Loxahatchee Groves because the county did not want to come in and do our code enforcement because we changed some of the ULDCs. So that's one problem that if I had to do over again, I would have kept it just like the county, lived with it, and had the county continue to do our code enforcement. We're having a hard time getting the code enforcement company to come into our town right now. And when you don't have code enforcement, for whatever the reason, things seem to get worse and not better. I'm thinking, and y'all can help me out here, is the acreage zone ag or is it zone residential? It's both. Loxahatchee Groves is mostly agricultural. We were talking at our last council meeting, and somebody made a comment that we need to grandfather all the agricultural, bona fide ag and stuff in, and then go to RR5. Well, I learned something after the fact that no, you want to keep your ag. Do not ever give up your ag if you've got it in the acreage. Agricultural prevents a lot of things from happening if you become a town. Whereas R5 opens the door for just about anybody that wants to come in and do business in your town. The charter, the biggest problem I have with our charter, and we all know in Loxahatchee Groves there's a few things we need to change on the charter. We cannot borrow money. Now why they started out with a charter where you can't borrow money, I don't know, but I won't condemn them for it. But I know that us as a small town, if we could get bonds to pave all our roads, we could get bonds for this and bonds for that, but we cannot go in debt. So that does not open the door for us to fix all our roads at one time. We can't afford it. So if I have any influence on the people of Loxahatchee, I tried this year to get it voted on that we could go in debt for whatever we wanted to. I'll try again next year, but I believe that somebody made a comment earlier about power and control and money. You get good people on your council, it's not for power, control, and money. When we started out on the council, we didn't get paid anything. And I think 3 years into my second term on the council, I believe it was, we asked for $500 a month. And I felt kind of guilty for asking for that, but I'll be honest with you, I spend more than $500 a month between riding through my town and helping people. So we just asked for another raise. We're stepping up to $750 a month, so I feel a little greedy. But when you get people on your council and you become a town, hopefully the reason they'll be on that council is not for power and money, but it'll be to serve the public and give you the best kind of livelihood that you can have out here. No, that's where I'm at, but I'm here just to let you know that for somebody that voted against it because I was supporting senior citizens and I had no interest in it, I will fight to the hilt to keep it. And my friends, I've got friends on both sides, okay? They say, Ron, we need to go back to county rule. I say, well, if you go back to county rule, don't expect my support because I'll be fighting head to head because it's just unbelievable what we can do as a town. And like I said, you guys could do so much more out here. You've got the bigger areas. And here's the one thing I like about the acreage. You've got most of your infrastructure already in. You've got your parks. You've done a good job out here. Parks and recreation has been important to you. You need to be complimented for your accomplishments. But you've got your infrastructure in. That would cut down on the cost. Here we are talking about paving roads and stuff, and they are expensive in the town of Loxahatchee Groves. You guys have come a long ways. That's why you need to take full control of it, and I would hope that you'll think seriously about incorporating. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I'm a common sense type of person. I can tell you from my experiences. But we have people in the Groves, I honestly believe they would wholeheartedly help you as far as the hard work it is to get incorporated, the research, the people you've got to bring on board, a legal firm and stuff like that, so you can draw your charter up and then have it voted on. So if you got any questions, I'd be glad to answer them, and I hope I've made some sense tonight. All the way in the back.
I got a two-part question. First part, what did it cost you to incorporate? Where did that money come from?
And that I cannot answer. I had one lady that was coming, there was a lady coming tonight that she was on that committee. In other words, they could tell you. Now, I honestly believe that it did not, I mean, it cost a few thousand, but nothing that you couldn't afford. But no, that's something that Lillian hopefully could communicate with the people that was on the original committee, the Incorporation committee, and she could find that out. But I mainly came tonight. I do so much that I'm not going to research the past, but we do have people in the Groves that could answer that for you.
Well, this is the third time. First time was around 2002, 2003 when I sat up there and we tried to incorporate and it didn't work. What will the difference in taxes be?
Okay, let me
between
explain.
where we are now and if we are incorporated?
Well, here's what we're doing in the Groves, and I can only relate to the Groves, but now you would have an increase in taxes, but that would be if you became a town and you had your charter and stuff, your town would vote on your first election crew, 5 people on the council, they would vote what your taxes would be. When you form a town, you have to have a set percentages. When Loxahatchee was formed, I believe we started out at 1.5. Now that's, in other words, you've got to have all this for the state to approve you to become a town. We started out at 1.5. Now, when I came on the council, at my first term, the first thing I wanted to do was reduce taxes. And so we got it down to 1.2. All right? So we dropped from 1.5, and yet we got more money coming into the bank now. And we're doing more with our money. But we dropped from 1.5 to 1.2. And we've got a guy on our board now, Jim Rockett, he's running for re-election, but he wants to drop it down to 0. And my attitude at first when I came on the council was, we pay taxes to the county. We don't need to pay taxes to the town. So my goal was to drop it down to 0 as far as town taxes. Now, I've changed my mind about that. We're bringing commercial into Loxahatchee Groves. Part of your becoming a town, you have to predict, you have to have some type of future projection where you're going to have commercial, what you're going to do with your town, how you're going to get your revenue and stuff like that. So I've changed my attitude from 0 to the town. I actually went for an increase this year up to Todd, was it 1.4?
I thought you went back to 1.5, but it could be 1.4.
Okay, either one. We went back, we went higher. We raised it from 1.2, but here's what we're doing in Loxahatchee Groves. The revenue that we've got, even though we raised our taxes this year, the residents are paying less than they paid last year. Now here's how you do it as a town. We've got commercial coming in. We've got developers coming into Loxahatchee Groves. You're going to come into my town, and if people think it's wrong, I don't have a right to say that, that's okay. But if you're going to come into my town while I'm sitting on that council, you're going to pay taxes, and that's commercial. So with the revenue that we've got coming in, we're paying people's garbage. In other words, we give the money back to the residents. In other words, if we raise their taxes to 1.5, they pay less this year because we cut their garbage costs. They're getting better garbage than they did last year, and that's what you can do as a town. You can cut your costs to your residents, all right, by garbage, by paving roads. In other words, you're giving them back more than what they're paying to the town. As far as the taxes coming from the residents, we don't really get that much, but with our commercial coming in, we've got the state college will not pay taxes, right? But the benefits of Palm Beach State College is better than what money can buy. Your kids will be able to jog at college, ride a horse, ride a bike. It won't cost parents a fortune in insurance, cars, and stuff for them to go to a state college that's in our town. And this college was the first chance that we had to do something for the Western communities. Okay, I'm a firm believer that if the Western communities do not work together, then we'll lose battles. We won't win them. We've supported you with 441 going through. We've supported you anytime we've had the opportunity. I do my walking and my exercise up at the Veterans Park in Royal Palm Beach. All right, that's a beautiful Veterans Park. We don't have nothing like that in Loxahatchee Groves, so we had an opportunity to bring a college into our town that would serve all the Western communities. And we had a group of people that fought that with petitions and everything else, but they did not win out. The council, that was a year that I was very proud of, that we got the college approved, and hopefully they'll open up this September. All right, it may be the next term, but they're hoping to open this September. And if you have the opportunity and you don't ride by Southern Boulevard and Beach Road like you're going out west of Belgrade, please take the time to ride by there and see what's going on. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir, you did.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
The $3 million you have sitting in the bank, what do you do with it?
Sir, right now, no,
The last part of the question is, you take some of that out and try to invest it, because right now, you're making no money anyway.
approximately we're making 0.01% if we're lucky. But no, here's my goal, and I can only speak for myself. I condemn the town and the council hoarding the money. Okay, I think in the last, 2013, we started coming up with property values. 2014 was, Loxahatchee Groves had the best increase in property values. 2015, we had a good year. I believe this is going to be the best year that the acreage, Loxahatchee Groves, and the western communities has seen the property values coming up. I know our town manager, I think he's probably, when it comes to money and finances, I don't think anybody's any smarter than him, and Bill Underwood. And I just came back from Tallahassee with the state legislature. But he's, I think he was talking with our FAC committee. We have a financial advisory committee. But he was talking about investing some of our money. Now, according to the charter, we have to keep, or no, according to Wells Fargo, we're supposed to keep so much in their bank, otherwise they'll charge us a fee. I personally don't like that, but no, we're talking about putting some of that money out and possibly getting anywhere from 0.24% or more. When I was in Tallahassee, I learned a little something about the League of Cities. The League of Cities, their state is up there right outside of Tallahassee. Many years ago, when towns couldn't get insurance, the League of Cities formed an insurance company. So now they get their insurance through the League of Cities. We can invest with League of Cities. We can get, I think it's called the State Bank. We can invest with them. The State Bank is fairly secure and stuff, but in the last 8 years, they haven't had a very good performance. I think they're just now recouping what they lost during our economical crisis. So no, I believe in investing. The one thing I believe in, though, is taking some of that money out of the bank and paving our roads and stuff right now while the price is right. When the economy goes up, the price goes up. Construction costs go up. So if we can build right now, then we can save in the future. With the town hall, you know, we paid $460,000. I'm proud of that. It's set on county property. The property did not belong to the chambers. All right. So when the chambers got ready to sell it, we weren't going to buy it without having the property that it sits on, even though it's in the town of Loxahatchee Groves and Loxahatchee Groves Park. So we got a little bit. We actually bought a little bit more than what came with the chambers. So we purchased the property and the town hall. And if you ever had the opportunity and you're riding through Loxahatchee, stop by our town hall, introduce yourself, and just check it out. But that was another accomplishment that I'm proud of. It took the whole council, okay? But I'm very proud of having our own town hall. We used to meet up at the water control district. If it was a rainy night, it was like a pigsty, you know, between the mud and the dirt and the water and stuff. It just wasn't right. Our town office was up at Booney's Plaza. Some people are scared to go to our town office up there, but we're trying to straighten that out. But no, now we have a beautiful town hall. But I do agree with you, though. We do need to invest some of that money. And I believe our town manager is capable of with the consensus of the council, of investing in it where we can make money off of it. And when I was talking to him, when we were talking about the different organizations that we can invest in, you know, we were talking about anywhere from 20 to 40,000 interests a year, depending on how much we put into the investment. Now, a lot of people don't think that's much money, but when you're not getting anything for $3 million, don't know it's a lot of money. And we can do something constructive with $20,000 or $40,000. Another question. Ma'am in the back.
Yes, I have a question. And I'm not really well versed in the ULDC. And when you talk about that, you can change it. When you change it, are you talking about individual codes?
Ma'am, let me give you an idea of what we did, and I was the one that supported this. When we were under county rule, you could not put a mobile home on less than 10 acres in certain sections of Loxahatchee Groves. When I moved to Loxahatchee, when I finally had my own home, I was in a mobile home. That's all I could afford. So I always felt like if you had 5 acres, you should be able to put a mobile home on it. So that was one simple thing that we changed. But we changed some other things, and so the other things are what the worst thing about it. When we start, we were trying to change it to make it better for the community. But when we started changing them, that's when we had trouble with the county not wanting to do our code enforcement. The one thing about the county, whether you like it or not, I don't think they show favoritism. If you're breaking the code, they'll take care of it. I believe we show favoritism in Loxahatchee Groves. We can't get a code enforcement company to come into the town of Loxahatchee Groves now, and that's not good for a community. So like I said, if I had it to do over again, I'd go back to county code enforcement. Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying that if you change any of the codes different from the county, then their code enforcement people will not come in to inspect or anything like that?
Ma'am, that's what I've been told, but I'm going to be honest with you. In the next couple of weeks, we've got a new code enforcement guy for the county, a young guy. The administrator, I believe, over the code enforcement department. I plan on talking to him and find out why, but I've heard from different people that the county refused to come back into our town and do our code enforcement because of that. Now, the way I look at it, but I'm just a common sense person without a college degree, you have a code enforcement book, whether you're the town of Loxahatchee Groves or the acreage. All right, if it's different than Palm Beach County, I would expect that man, especially with a college degree, to come out to our town, open our code enforcement book, and make people comply to our rules and regulations. But so I want him to tell me that he can't do that. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, that'll be a project that I'll take care of.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anybody else?
Ron,
Oh, I'm sorry.
question on the ULDC also. As the town, can you also set up your own code enforcement group so that you could have government employees that become code enforcement for Loxahatchee Groves? I realize you're small, but you know.
The one thing, when we became a town, the charter said that we would not have town employees, okay? I don't know if that's, but I've heard Dennis Lip is on our P&Z board. He's been on county boards and stuff, very smart man. He's made some suggestions that there may come a time where we need to have a town manager that is a town employee. In other words, so that's another thing that would have to be changed on the charter. But no, our charter does not allow it now. And when you think about it, as far as a town manager, we have a management company. I like it. Everybody's included. The clerk, the secretary, the receptionist, all that stuff. But I believe that if you have a town manager that is working for the town, I believe he puts a little bit more into it. You know, his heart, you know, the town has more control when he's an employee of the town. So, but that's something that we may never try, but we would have to change the charter to do that. And they did not believe that we wanted our own employees. Yes, sir.
It's my understanding that a municipality, if you accept the gas tax money and use it on your roads, that these roads will then, by law, be considered public roads and affected. Is that correct?
Sir, here's what I consider public road, and here's what we've proven in the town of Loxahatchee Groves. We had, years ago, we had a county commissioner that helped Loxahatchee Groves, but we brought every road in the town of Loxahatchee Groves up with 6 inches of road rock material. And we had some bad roads, all right? So the only way we could do that is those roads had to be considered public roads. And the way the county looked at it, the way I've always looked at it, and I'm not saying that you look at it the same way I do. If you have mail delivery and you have trash pickup on your road, to me that's a public road. You have police and fire that responds in emergencies, but no, and that was one thing we had to justify to the county. We had to show it couldn't be all the mailboxes at one spot that didn't even affect the road. It couldn't be garbage pickup at the end of the road. They had to have garbage pickup and mail delivery, and the county looked at that as being considered a public road. Now, we've had people in our town that want to get off the gas tax maps, and so we don't fight them on that. The only requirement is that they take a gate, and they put it up at the end of their road, and they keep that gate closed. Once they put that gate up, and they ask to be taken off the gas tax maps, or gas tax funds, then we take them off. So there's ways, if you don't want to get the gas tax money, I've always said some people take care of their own roads in Loxahatchee Groves. I look at it as we all work together for the benefit of the community. So if I had a road and I took care of it myself, I would leave the road open so the town can get my gas tax money and put it on somebody's road that couldn't afford to take care of their road. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the rest of my question is, if these roads, let's imagine tomorrow the acreage incorporates and all these roads become public roads, then effectively the acreage is losing control of the roads, and this control will move to other agencies, state, county, whatever, and we'll have lost control of the roads. And the massive development that's proposed around us will be able to use us as they wish. And we'll have lost the main tool we have to prevent that.
And sir, this is my opinion now, and I'm basing it on Loxahatchee Groves. We have people in Loxahatchee Groves that say we need to put a toll up at the corner of 140th and the cut through it at Nudist Colony, okay? We have a lot of people in the acreage that use that cut through to go to Seminole Ridge High School, to take your equipment and go through Loxahatchee to do your southwest corner. But we have a lot of residents in Loxahatchee that use that corner to bring their kids out here to your schools. All right, so no, I don't believe in blocking things off. It's back to neighborhoods, working with neighborhoods. But you will, I do not believe you will ever lose control of your roads. You have a district that takes care of your roads. Basically, they would continue to take care of your roads unless you do what we're trying to do now. We have, when we became a town, we have what they call town roads, and we have district roads in Loxahatchee Groves. But now all your roads are taken care of by your Indian Trail Improvement District. I would say that would stay the same. That would be a relationship between the town and the improvement district. But when you have control over stuff like that, if we have access and we have funds to PBSO anytime we want it. Now, I say the biggest problem on Loxahatchee roads is speed. We have people like to speed through Loxahatchee, but we have control over it now. We can pay PBSO to set up speed traps or do whatever we want them to. Before we couldn't afford that. There's ways that you can control people coming through your town. We're in the process of trying to get our speed limit lowered on Okeechobee Boulevard through the town of Loxahatchee Groves. I hope we can pull that off. We're doing the resolution. We're going through the process. But, and a lot of people say when Minto comes in, and it's unbelievable what they're doing on Southern Boulevard now, that development out there. But hopefully they'll stay on the major thoroughfare and they won't come riding through our town unless they just want to ride through a town and do a little looking. But no, there's places where your young generation or people realize that, man, if I go through there, if I'm speeding, I might get a ticket. All right? Everybody knows where those places are. We can do the same thing in the town of Loxahatchee Groves. We can afford to do that. We can afford to pay PBS. So I do not believe that when you become a town, that you'll lose control of your roads. I don't think it'll be any more worse than what you have it right now. The difference is you can have better roads. You can pay for better roads. You can have money to pay for more PBSO. You got money to keep your town the way you want to keep it. So that's, when you say it's public, it just means that anybody that wants to ride through your town can, and they can do that now. But you guys, another thing you got out here that we don't have in the Groves, you got citizens on patrol. Now Sandy is the head of that, okay?
Not no more.
No, she's got a real job now, okay? But you impressed me with that. You could even do more if you were a town with a lot of revenue coming in. But no, you got citizens on patrol, and I'm trying to get the people in Loxahatchee to get something like that going, because it seems like crime is getting worse, all over. But anybody else? If I need to stop it now, just cut me off. Sergeant Joy.
I have a question about the fire department though. The county provides fire protection. Do you guys now have to pay for the fire protection separately, or how does that work?
I can answer that because one of the county commissioners, I was with Lily, and it was like the Lone Ranger in Tonto, okay? But, and I...
I was Tonto.
No, you were the Lone Ranger, I was Tonto. But no, we were at the county meeting because you guys need a third person on your rescue out here, okay? Station 21 in Loxahatchee Groves needs a third person on their rescue. The things that your area and our area is totally different, okay? The response time and all that, but I'll talk about that at another time. But no, you're what they call the MSTUs. It doesn't change. Now, if you wanted, they offered me, they said, well, Ron, we can get you a third man on the rescue if you're willing to pay another $439,000 a year. But now that's 3 guys around the clock riding that rescue. Now, if we had money to burn, I'd recommend, I'd probably get shot down, but I'd recommend that we put $439,000 to put that third person on our rescue truck. But realistically, they definitely vote me out of office probably if I recommended it right now. But no, that stays the same. And your influence probably wouldn't be any different. Hopefully someday all our rescue trucks will come up with 3-man rescue. But no, you wouldn't be paying for that. If you wanted something extra, just like if you wanted an extra police officer dedicated to your town, you're going to have to pay extra for it. But the good thing about it is if you got the money and the people need it, you can do it. Yes, sir.
Does the FDOT have any jurisdiction over the roadways out here?
No, sir, they don't. Now, we had a guy came in our town, a contractor, and he was going to get a permit from FDOT to put a culvert in on one of our dirt roads, and he learned pretty quick that no, FDOT don't have any say so. That's when it comes to a major highway like Southern Boulevard, 441. No, they do have control over that, but in our town, we control anything that has to do with traffic control. The town controls it. Yes, ma'am.
Your comment about when you were initially opposed to it because of the seniors. Did I understand correctly that it was primarily just a tax thing? And if it were, and you're talking about 1% over what people already paid would be a very small number.
Ma'am, it was actually 1.5% when we started out. But no, it was my interest. It was my interest in the town at the time. In other words, I didn't really care whether we incorporated or whether we didn't incorporate it. I felt like the county was doing okay, but my senior citizens mean a lot to me in my town. And the senior citizens that I spoke to, they were worried about the tax increase, even though it was 1.5, even though it was kind of small going to the town, but it was more than what they were paying to the county. It was, in other words, you were paying a little bit more. So basically, I voted against it because I listened to my seniors and I supported them. Now I can convince my seniors that no, listen to me. We'll raise your taxes, but we'll give you more back, and that's what we're doing. We've done that ever since I got on the council. A couple things we do as a town. Prior to hurricane season, we put out anywhere from the council votes that we usually get CNC loader services, but they go around with the hook trucks and stuff to pick up vegetation just like the county. But
No, not at all.
But we agree as a council that we put out $15,000 for this professional company, and we give the people like 2 weeks notice prior to hurricane season that we're going to be picking up extra vegetation. It gives the people in our town, and trust me, whereas the waste pro and stuff, they pick up what they call 6 cubic yards. So if you got a large pile outside your property, it may take them 2 to 3 times to pick it up. Well, in our town, every year prior to hurricane season, the town pays $15,000, and people can put their vegetation out there, and until we spend that $15,000, we just keep picking it up. Now, that's just something little we do. So what we give them in that actually is more than what they pay the town in taxes. Yes, ma'am.
Are you speaking of 1.5% of my property assessment or of the taxes that I pay?
Ma'am, it's like, somebody here may know this in finances, it's like so much per $1,000. It would be 1.5% of the thousand, I believe.
Per thousand of the thousand.
Yeah, per thousand of the value. If you had, if you had a $100,000 home, yeah,
$150.
Yeah, $150.
Right.
And see, we would give that person, most of our homes in Loxahatchee Groves, I don't think it's gonna be, I mean, we got some beautiful places and we've got equestrians moving in that's building some beautiful homes. And Barnes is worth more than my home is. But the average home in Loxahatchee Groves may not be $100,000. So that person would be paying $150 more to the town. But at the same time, we've given it back to them. In other words, we through garbage pickup, through vegetation pickup, so far we've been blessed enough to where we've been able to give the people back more than they're paying out, and that's public record.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Why are the people of Loxahatchee Groves so against four-laning Okeechobee Boulevard, and that's the main thoroughfare?
Ma'am, mainly, and I don't look at it as the main thoroughfare. I used to ride it on a bicycle with only one car could go up and down the road. But we don't want Okeechobee Boulevard. Okeechobee Boulevard at one time never went to Royal Palm Beach. It stopped at D Road. D Road is our main north and south road. I call it the main street of Loxahatchee
Isn't
Groves.
that a dirt road?
No, North D Road now has been paved with ozone, and I'm trying to talk them into doing South D Road. But no, that was the east end of Loxahatchee Groves. But no, it's like you people out here, you would not want Orange or Persimmon to be a major thoroughfare cutting through your town. You just wouldn't want it. Now, I believe that Okeechobee Boulevard, there's not a need for it to be a major thoroughfare. They're fixing to, I believe 2017, they're going to start working on Southern Boulevard, and that will be a major thoroughfare. And I see what has happened from Royal Palm Beach all the way into I-95. What used to take me an hour or longer to get in there, I can do in 10 minutes if I'm going a little above the speed limit. But I want people, not only for us, but for y'all, I want people to have a tendency to stay on the outskirts of our town, go to Southern Boulevard, go to town, or come out here. I've always, and we did a resolution, that Seminole Pratt needs to go all the way through the beeline. They talk about improving North Lake and doing this and doing that for all these developers coming in. But the truth of the matter is, if we had Seminole Pratt going all the way to the beeline for hurricane evacuation or whatever, that would relieve you guys, it would relieve us. Because I use North Lake sometimes. I'll go out to Seminole Pratt, come to North Lake, depends if I'm going on the north end or the south end. But no, I believe that we could would take Okeechobee like it is right now and keep it a 2-lane, but what we've got to do, we've got to put turning lanes and stuff in there. We've got to put a median in. We've got to have people where they can continue the traffic flow, but turn and get off Okeechobee at the same time. So I tell my people, and this is back to where do you want to be a town or not. If the town of Loxahatchee Groves, I've asked them to try and get engineering plans of what we want, okay? We talk the talk, but we don't walk it, okay? If we do not come up with a design that we want as a town, when the county gets ready to 4-lane that road, they're going to 4-lane it the way they want it, and they're going to tell us, you had plenty of time. You've been in town for 10 years and you can't even come up with a design. So that's the way I look at it as a town. You control things if you move on it, and you think about the future. Anybody else? All the way in the back.
All the way. Yeah, first I wanted to say thank you for coming out and talking to us like this. Appreciate that. Secondly, just sort of ballpark. I'm not sure, Loxahatchee Groves, if you had some kind of a governing body before incorporating, sort of like we have Indian Trails, it does the roads and, kind of maintains things out here. But I don't know if you had a central body that you kind of all formed around. What was the nucleus of, going forward with incorporating, becoming, a city, because, we're looking at sort of more of a grassroots movement, not really sure, how, what started the movement in Loxahatchee Groves to do what you guys did. And then lastly, like how long did it take from the inception when you all decided that you wanted to incorporate, and how long did it actually take to get to a vote or whatever where that actually happened? That's history, but.
Basically, you got the same thing we had. I think our landowners association played a big part in incorporation. You've got ALA here, all right? The time period, is anybody, I've got Todd, Virginia, and Nina. Do you have any idea how long it took from the time they started getting interested till they got it approved by the state?
I think it was quite a while. I will tell you that this is a little bit of the catch-22. Whoever currently is powerful in your town is likely to continue being powerful. Ron, for example, was on the water control district. The mayor was on the water control district. Some of the key players in the incorporation will be there. You may like that, you may not like that. I'm not saying it's a negative thing, I'm not saying it's a positive thing, but it's something to consider. I think that what we did when we incorporated, we wanted small government. A lot of the things were put in place for small government. That's why the town manager was on the outside, not on the inside. You're not starting to pay, health insurance, blah, 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 blah. That all comes with it. There are now, I look at it, you can shoot yourself in the foot long range and short range. And you can create beautiful things long range and short range. Right now, when GL Homes is doing their bit, Minto did their bit, you got to go down to that town when they decided to talk about your little town. We now have meetings where we have 2 council meetings, we have IGC meetings, intergovernmental meetings, we have water control meetings, we have the finance meetings, we have the roads and equestrian, the REDGAG meetings, which are currently not being held, but nonetheless they're there. We had meetings at one point in time for ULDCs, that stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are a lot of meetings where a lot of things are happening. And you gotta pay attention to them. You gotta know what's happening at them. Because, tonight I actually was looking for the water control district meeting and accidentally clicked on the IGC meeting. And lo and behold, I heard about a policy that is about acquiring or taking easement of 20 feet as a general policy for drainage. So again, it's, what is it you want? We wanted to stay rural. We wanted to have our own destiny in mind. And these are all good goals. What can you accomplish in this setting versus that setting is something you really seriously have to think about as you're going forward. Who's willing to put in the time? This man puts in a ton of time. I've put in a ton of time. These 2 back there have put in a ton of time. It's amazing. It's a rolling machine. And again, you might like it and not dislike the decisions that come from that. You're green behind the ears. You don't know how to do everything. You're learning how to do everything. And you make mistakes in the process. There are people with hidden agendas. There are cats that come off the side.
Hey, Nina, I know they're probably getting more than me.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about
I'm thinking it took a couple of years, but now that's something that Lillian can find out for you. But it is time consuming, and you have to have a group of people that's going to work hard at it. Yes, ma'am.
Add to that, I did speak with Elise previously, and when I spoke with her today,